Imagine a world where presenting indisputable facts, backed by overwhelming evidence, doesn't just fail to persuade, but actively entrenches the very false belief you're trying to correct. This isn't a hypothetical thought experiment. It's a perplexing reality we encounter daily, a phenomenon psychologists call the backfire effect. It's a counterintuitive twist in the human calculus, revealing that our minds are often more invested in protecting existing narratives than in embracing objective truth. We've all experienced it, armed with data, logic, and peer reviewed studies. We attempt to enlighten someone only to watch them dig their heels in deeper, their conviction in the incorrect idea seemingly strengthened by our efforts. This isn't stubbornness in its simplest form. It's a sophisticated psychological defense mechanism at play, an unseen algorithm guiding the human mind. At the heart of the backfire effect lies a fundamental discomfort known as cognitive dissonance. First theorized by social psychologist Leon Festinger in the 1950s, cognitive dissonance describes the mental stress or discomfort experienced by an individual who holds contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values, or is confronted by new information that conflicts with existing beliefs, ideas, or values. It's a tension our brains are wired to resolve, often not by changing the entrenched belief, but by dismissing the new, conflicting evidence. Festinger's groundbreaking work, particularly his classic study on a doomsday cult, revealed how individuals, when faced with the undeniable failure of their prophecy, didn't abandon their faith. Instead, they rationalized, reinterpreted, and actually strengthened their belief, often becoming even more fervent proselytizers. The mental architecture of belief protection was laid bare. When facts directly challenge a deeply held conviction, especially one tied to our identity or worldview, the brain perceives this new information not as an opportunity for update, but as a threat. The discomfort of cognitive dissonance compels us to reduce that tension. Rather than altering the established belief, which can feel like dismantling a part of ourselves, we often choose to discredit the challenging evidence, the messenger, or even the entire premise of the argument. This defensive maneuver effectively backfires the attempt at persuasion, solidifying the original false belief. This mechanism is further amplified by confirmation bias, our inherent tendency to seek out, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms our pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses. We are, in essence, constantly building a mental echo chamber, filtering out dissonant voices and amplifying those that resonate with our internal narratives. When contradictory evidence is presented, confirmation bias kicks in, making it easier to find flaws in the new information than to acknowledge its validity. We scrutinize the source, question the methodology, or find any reason to dismiss it, all while uncritically accepting information that supports our existing views. This selective processing ensures that the challenging facts never truly penetrate the fortress of our convictions. Consider the pervasive nature of health misinformation. Despite overwhelming scientific consensus, certain communities remain steadfast in beliefs that defy medical evidence. When presented with rigorous studies, individuals often retreat into their existing information bubbles, citing anecdotal evidence or distrusting scientific institutions. The attempt to correct, rather than dispelling the myth, inadvertently reinforces the community's bond around their shared false narrative, making the belief even more resilient. The emotional dimension here is critical. Challenging someone's belief isn't just a logical exercise, it can feel like a personal attack. Our beliefs are interwoven with our identity, our values, and our sense of belonging. To admit a foundational belief is wrong can be perceived as an admission of personal error, a blow to self-esteem, or even a betrayal of one's social group. This deep emotional connection transforms a factual discussion into an existential battle for psychological integrity. Modern research has further illuminated the backfire effect, particularly in the realm of political science. Political scientists Brendan Nyhan and Jason Reifler have conducted extensive studies demonstrating how factual corrections, far from shifting opinions, can sometimes strengthen misperceptions among ideologically aligned individuals. Their work highlights that while corrections can be effective for some, for those whose identity is deeply intertwined with the false belief, the correction acts as a trigger for defensive reasoning. Their findings revealed that when presented with evidence debunking a politically charged falsehood, individuals with strong partisan ties not only resisted the correction but often reported greater belief in the original misinformation afterwards. This isn't just an unwillingness to change one's mind, it's an active reinforcement, a psychological recoil that tightens the grip of the original incorrect idea. From an evolutionary perspective, our ancestors benefited from strong group cohesion and a shared understanding of reality, even if that reality wasn't perfectly accurate. Deviating from the group's consensus could have meant ostracization, a death sentence in ancient times. Our brains may, therefore, be hardwired to prioritize social belonging and the stability of our group's worldview over absolute factual accuracy, especially when the facts threaten that cohesion. This deep-seated drive to conform and protect our social standing continues to influence our cognitive processes today. This tendency manifests as identity protective cognition, a term describing the unconscious tendency to resist factual information that threatens one's ideological or cultural identity. It's not about being irrational, it's about being rational in service of a deeper, more fundamental goal: protecting one's self concept and social ties. The mental calculus here isn't solely about truth, but about belonging and psychological comfort. The digital age, with its endless streams of personalized content and algorithmic echo chambers, has become a fertile ground for the backfire effect to flourish on a grand scale. Social media platforms, designed to connect us, inadvertently amplify our confirmation biases, curating feeds that reinforce our existing views and shield us from contradictory evidence. When a factual correction does break through, it often arrives not as a neutral piece of information, but as an intrusion from an outgroup, further triggering identity protective responses. Understanding this effect fundamentally reshapes our approach to persuasion and public discourse. It suggests that simply barraging individuals with more facts is often counterproductive. The challenge isn't a lack of information, it's a deeply ingrained psychological architecture that prioritizes belief protection. This realization introduces a profound layer of complexity to everything from political campaigns to public health initiatives. When confronted with information that challenges their core beliefs, individuals often experience a profound sense of psychological threat. It's not just the truth of a statement being questioned, it's the validity of their judgment, the coherence of their worldview, and sometimes the very foundations of their identity. The backfire occurs because the brain perceives the factual challenge as an attack, prompting a defensive fortification rather than an open-minded reconsideration. So, how can we navigate this intricate mental landscape? The answer, ironically, often lies not in more facts, but in different forms of engagement. Rather than direct confrontation, which triggers the defensive mechanisms, approaches that validate the individual's identity or find common ground can be more effective. Building rapport, appealing to shared values, and asking questions that encourage self reflection rather than demanding immediate belief change can sometimes bypass the initial threat response. Empathetic engagement, focusing on the underlying concerns or values that animate a false belief, can create a bridge where facts alone cannot. It requires patience, humility, and a deep understanding that human beings are not purely rational agents, but complex systems driven by emotions, social connections, and the powerful, often unconscious, imperative to maintain a coherent self narrative. The goal shifts from winning an argument to fostering an environment where new information can be considered without triggering a primal defense. Recognizing the backfire effect in others is one thing, but acknowledging its potential within ourselves is a far more challenging, yet crucial, step in intellectual growth. Our own brains are equally susceptible to this powerful bias, subtly guiding us to favor information that aligns with our established views and dismiss that which challenges them. Cultivating intellectual humility and a genuine curiosity about dissenting perspectives becomes a vital practice for transcending our own cognitive blind spots. The implications extend far beyond individual conversations, touching the very fabric of society. In an era saturated with information, where truth itself seems increasingly contested, the backfire effect poses a significant challenge to education, critical thinking, and collective decision making. It underscores the urgent need for pedagogical approaches that teach not just what to think, but how to think about information, how to critically evaluate sources, and how to engage with conflicting ideas without immediately resorting to defensive closure. The human calculus, then, is a delicate balance between our innate drive for cognitive consistency and our capacity for rational adaptation. We are constantly weighing the comfort of a stable worldview against the discomfort of confronting new, challenging information. This intricate interplay dictates not just our personal beliefs, but the collective trajectory of societies, shaping everything from scientific consensus to political polarization. Ultimately, the backfire effect serves as a profound reminder of the intricate, often paradoxical, nature of the human mind. It reveals that our brains are not merely processors of information, but sophisticated architects of belief, constantly working to maintain coherence and protect our psychological equilibrium. Understanding this deep seated tendency is not just an academic exercise, it's an essential tool for navigating a world where facts, surprisingly, can sometimes be the very things that strengthen false beliefs.